Come on! Yeah! What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Hainsey coming back from another video. Today, we're here to preview round number 5 of the NRL Telstra Premiership season. Thursday night's clash between my boys, the Sydney Roosters, and the Parramatta Eels. To help me is my good friend of mine, representing the Parramatta Eels, the fucking Eels. It's the great Entertain House. Hayden, my friend, welcome back to the channel. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, mate. Coming off a great win against Penrith with obviously some big stats, 2 errors, 95% completion rate. So as an Eels fan, early on there hasn't been much to cheer about. So it's good to, have some excitement for your team and get your first win of the season at a time where everyone else said that we were going to be going 0-5.
Yeah, I didn't believe that. Like, obviously, I did tip Parramatta beat Penrith last week. So, and like I've said before, if you didn't tip Parramatta last week, you don't know football. So, I can give you the tips, guys, but it's what you do with them. But you actually beat me to the gun there, Hayden. I was actually going to about to ask you about that game, but you've already said it for me. Obviously, the Roosters. Oh, we had to work for those 2 points last week, didn't we? Tell you what, it was early stages in that game. We were like, oh, the bye's got us. The Roosters prevailed. The Roosters beat the bye. We beat the bye. Good to have our first easy 2 points of the weekend. But yeah, obviously, refreshed, ready to go this week against the Parramatta Eels. Speaking about that game on Thursday night, first game back for you this year. How was it? How was the atmosphere like?
Yeah, mate. I truly believe I am Parramatta's good luck charm. They got the victory with me back there, obviously being in America for the first couple of rounds, not able to get there. As I mentioned, start the season 0-3, so needed to produce some results. And the energy, I didn't get enough time to speak to the boys pre-game. I got there pretty late after work, but the energy and the excitement towards next week or this week now from the boys, especially from Jermaine Hopgood, Clint Gutherson, some of the humour from the boys was some of the best. What's the word? I guess team sense is. I don't know. That's not the right word, but I'm trying to say that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Nathan Cleary's 2-point field goal. As I mentioned, I don't know about top 5, but probably in the top 10 most clutch plays in the history of the NRL. So to be there live for that was pretty nuts. And I think the crowd at first, including me, thought that we had won the game by a missed field goal, but he's an absolute wizard. And as I mentioned, Parramatta, there were times where Penrith got themselves back into the game, very close scores, but you just never felt like Parramatta were letting the game go, especially the stats speak for themselves. And Mitchell Moses, who's put that pen to paper, broke an NRL record. So some really positive signs and a fantastic game to be at.
Yeah.
Probably the game of the year, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, definitely looked great. And when I saw the vlog, especially when with the Golden Point, I was like, oh, poor Hayden has to go through this. I was like, Golden Point House returns. Golden Point House returns. It was very good. It was very good. And yeah, watching the vlog, seeing the emotions was good, mate. Yeah, it was good. All right. But yeah, we're here to preview the Roosters Eels game Thursday night, Allianz Stadium, as we like to call it. Gutherards or something like that.
Gutherards.
You guys win? No.
No.
Sevo Arns will like it.
I guess Sevo Arns because he knows how to put Tedesco down. So yeah,
Sevo Arns.
Imagine a Sevo chant going around.
Joey Arns isn't playing, so. Oh yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, we're both going to be at this game too, so it's going to be great. Back at Allianz, and Hayden's first game back at Allianz since the semi-final, I believe.
Yeah, very fiery game. the semi-final.
Roosters, Rabbitohs.
Yes,
We've been
Roosters, Rabbitohs.
2 together.
Simbin City.
Yeah. Sin Bin Sunday. Yeah, don't talk about it. All right. So, but yeah, odds $57, I believe. $1.60. Eels are $2.30. So not bad odds. But yeah. All right. Let's get into it. We'll get the team news out.
Wow, we have a team list for this game. Last time I had to predict.
Hayden, if you want to go through the Eels side.
I sure do. I was just saying there. I think it's a little bit delayed on your end, but
yes.
I have to pick the 17 for the Dolphins.
If you guys don't remember, there was a bit of a delay there actually. No, obviously, but yeah, we had to predict the Roosters and Dolphins line. But here we go, team list. Hayden's over to you, mate. Go for the Eels.
Yes, at fullback, our captain, who is not going anywhere, guys. Don't believe the Parramatta Eels media stories. Just because Mitchell Moses has re-signed, they need to shut their mouths. But it is our captain, Clint Gutherson. On the wing, the owner of James Tedesco, it is Mike Acevo, and we will turn this stadium into Severance. Will Penasini in the centres, who has had a fantastic start to the year. The other centre, the only player in this team that I truly believe should be dropped, and I think it's coming soon because he is being shopped around. I've heard Wonga Blake. On the wing, Bailey Simonson, who hadn't been great lately, but definitely improved his game last week. Our 5'8", who has been missing all season. I've seen some missing posters for Dylan Brown, but I've spoken to him, and he is ready this week to play some footy. He says he's ready to have a big game, even though I said he'd do it last week. But Dylan Brown at 5'8", recently re-signed. In the halfback is Mitchell Moses, coming off breaking the NRL's kicking record. Number 8 is, if you scroll down for me, please, Regan Campbell-Gillard, who, once again, he has had a fantastic start to the year. And number 9 is Josh Hodgson. The number 10 is an interesting one. We've got Woodamoo Greg coming in for the suspended Junior Paulo. I personally would have had Makahesi Makatoa, but I'm guessing we'll see him later in the side. Number 11 is Bryce Cartwright, retaining his spot in the back row, the first try scorer last week against the Panthers. Ryan Madison for his second game back from suspension, once again in the back row, with Jermaine Hopgood at lock. And let me tell you, Jermaine Hopgood, he is a character, and I'll tell you some stories off camera. Number 14 is Matt Dury, coming off that bench. He was fantastic last week, so he gets that spot once again. Number 15, fresh off his debut, fresh off a NRL try, is Brandon Hands. Really looking forward to what he can produce in his second game. Returning for the Eels in jersey number 16 is Jack Murchie. And our number 17, who I believe should be our number 10, is Makahesi Makatoa, with our 18th man as Jacob Arthur.
Very good team on paper. Special shout out to one of the greatest names on the planet, and that is Brendan Hands. Obviously, what a name, obviously. But yeah, are you happy with this side, Hayden? Like, obviously, Polo's out, so it's a big loss. No Sean Lane either. But
no, so Sean Lane and Paulo will be back against the Bulldogs. Marnie returning to his old stomping ground. I'm hearing that Sean Lane and also I'm hearing, I'll give you the news, I'm hearing potential that Sean Russell, who was ruled out for the season, could actually be back in that game against the Bulldogs. But overall, I am very happy with this side. I mentioned Wonga Blake. He's obviously been shopped around at the moment, whether it be Super League or other clubs. There's a few different offers there for him. He's playing part of the team, though. I guess it's a winning dynamic at the moment. But I think the bench that we've gone with is really, really solid. I think our bench has been an issue, and our bench rotations to start the year have been pretty poor, but stick with a very winning side. As I said, the only change I would have to that side, Makahesi Makatoa coming in, but I again think that maybe Woodamoo has that, early impact, and then when the game starts to get fatigue, is when Makahesi and what's his name, Matt Dury come into the game, change the dynamic in Parra's favour. So I think it's a good team.
It looks very good, and obviously there's two teams that look really similar. So anyway, I know the Parramatta are 15th, but it's going to be a cracking game. I can't wait for it. All right, let's go. Let's go through the eventual 2023 premiers, the Sydney Roosters, led by fullback captain James Tedesco. On the wings, Tupou and Jackson Polo. This is disgusting. He doesn't even have a profile picture when he absolutely dismantled Souths last time out. The big news, or the big man, Joseph Akuso Suali'i, named at centre. How's he going to go after signing that big record deal with the Wallabies? As the Roosters like to call us, like Roosters fans, the Fat Orbo, Drew Hutchison into the centres. Obviously, Joseph Manu is out through suspension. Into the halves, Luke Keary and Sam Walker. The big man up front, Jared Wawiya-Hargreaves, and Lindsay Collins with the cheese, Brandon Smith. Again, disgusting, doesn't have a profile picture yet. Also notice that Josh Hodgson doesn't have a profile picture either, which is ridiculous. The interchange band, the back row, Egan Butcher, the Nat Butcher, the Butcher brothers, and Victor the Inflictor Radley. Onto the bench, Jake Turpin, Nafua White. This gets interesting every week with Robbo. He's named Corey Allen on the bench. I don't get it why. And then big Fletcher Baker, which I have massive rats on. He is at the 17, and the 18th man is Ben Thomas. And then there's our replacement players as well there as well. Again, another strong team for the Roosters. Obviously, the big out is Joseph Manu, but Mr. Relot. So the reason why we call the good old Drew Hutchison the Fat Orbo, because he's the new Mr. Reliable. He plays every position, and he's just basically the new Orbo, but bigger size. So that's why we call him the Fat Orbo. But yeah, he's in the side. Corey Allen, it would have made more sense Corey Allen starting and have Hutchison on the bench, but we saw this against the Dolphins and it didn't work, having both of them on the bench, both of them on the field. So I would like to see either Hutchison or Allen drop out for Ben Thomas so we have more forward through the middle. But apart from that, can't complain. Roosters side looking really good, looking a lot better than what we said after round 1 and 2. Obviously, that big win against the Rabbitohs was always good. But yeah, very good. Very good side on paper. And it does really look similar sides. Like, they do look really good, really look different sides anyway. So, anyway, it's going to be a cracking contest. Nevertheless, what are your thoughts on the Roosters side here, Hayden?
Look, I think the Roosters have a good side. I think they mostly have a fairly good side. Again, I think Drew Hutchison off the bench would have been a better decision with Corey Allen starting rather than having him off the bench. I think same with the Bulldogs and the Roosters. Their bench rotations have been a little bit strange, like Jade Knockenball coming off the bench, and then you've got Corey Allen coming off the bench. I just want to mention here, because probably the best for like a utility in forwards at the moment, you compare that Roosters bench to the Cronulla Sharks this week, because I think that the Cronulla Sharks arguably have the best bench in the competition. So you've got number 14, Cameron McInnes, number 15, Royce Hunt, Jack Williams, and then if you've got injuries or one of your spine getting tired, you've got Braden Trindle. So, look, Trent Robinson is one of the best coaches in the game. So he knows what he's doing. He's doing the right thing. Maybe he knows that players at the Roosters especially have become, concussion and injury prone. So maybe he's doing it for that factor. But at first, when I looked at this bench, I absolutely laughed my head off. And I thought, as you mentioned, it didn't work against the Dolphins. Is it going to work at home? It's going to be interesting.
Well, Drew Hutchison's played every game off the bench this year. He even played. He didn't play much minutes against the Rabbitohs, but he come on and played a role late in the game. So I don't know why he keeps getting picked. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But for this week, it makes sense because obviously Manu, we need to set up. It's Corey Allen up for the task. He's still trying to work out. I think he's going right. I just want to play someone who can play that position, and that's Drew Hutchison, who's played there before. Obviously, we still haven't had no word from Paul Momorowski, so I don't know where he is. And we said that in our preview in round 1, so it's going to be interesting how we go in this game. obviously some good news. Angus Crichton has returned to training for the Roosters, which is great to see. So the way I've heard that the first week or two, he's going to train alone, sort of like a preseason kind of thing, get back up to scratch kind of thing, get him right, and then in a couple of weeks he'll return to the squad, and then they said earliest would be round 7, but maybe we could see him round 7, could see him back Anzac Day. I doubt it to see him travel to New Zealand in round 9 and then obviously Magic Round. So we could see him back very soon, which is great to see. So it's great to see about Angus Crichton. We'll get into the preview now. I say to every guy that come on here, how do the Parramatta Eels beat the Roosters on Thursday night?
Well, I think that the bench of the Parramatta Eels, as I've mentioned, is arguably better. I think that the Roosters will probably lead this game for most of the game. And then when their players, their Jared Weir-Hargraves type players start to get tired, I arguably think that Parramatta's got a better bench. For Parramatta to win this game, they need to shut down James Tedesco, though. At home, without Joey Manu, he's going to be that kind of go-to player. They're going to be coming up with some set play. I actually think if they're smart, which they are, I think we might see a lot of early kicks in the tackle count. I think you might see a kind of kick chase from Tedesco or Swa'ali'i on, say, third tackle for the Roosters, which will catch Parramatta off guard. And then as for the Sydney Roosters to win, I think that the Roosters arguably at the moment have the better forward pack. And I think that they need to shut down Parramatta's forward pack because Regan Campbell-Gillard is going to be leading that forward pack this weekend this Thursday night without Junior Polo. But Regan Campbell-Gillard has started the season sensationally. He's been one of our best players. So it's going to be a tight game. Another nail biter, I think.
I think there's really been underestimated. This reminds me of Magic Round. I can't remember what game we talking about this week as the game of the round. It's not Storm Titan, Storm Rabbitohs, is it? That's not the game of the round. What are people saying is the game of the round this week?
I actually am not too sure. Let me just have a look at the whole games.
So obviously,
I guess.
Yeah, mate. This is probably the game of the round.
I think this and probably Bulldogs Cowboys could be game of the round.
So I remember, if you remember Magic Round, we were both there, obviously. Everyone was talking about the game of the round as Storm Penrith, and it turned out to be a blowout. And then it turned out the Roosters Eels Magic Round on the Sunday was the game of the round. We come up with a classic. What was it? 31-24. Like it was. And I was like, don't sweat on this game either. And it turned out to be the game of the Magic Round for sure. Yeah. But I think it's going to be similar. A lot of people are underestimating how good this game's going to be because how Parramatta are right now because they're 15th when they've actually been playing some good footy. So, interesting to see, though, Jared starting and so is Brandon Smith. Now, obviously, that worked for us against the Rabbitohs where we had Turpin start and Fletcher Baker. I wouldn't be surprised if we do there's going to be some late changes coming to the lineup come kickoff because that's what Robbo likes to do. He likes to limit Jared's impact early on in the season. Like how the Roosters, we like to build into a season. I think the same is with Jared, especially with his age. Now, obviously, he's fine he's aged well, like an aged well fine wine or something like whatever the saying is. But that's what I feel like that he does every year. He likes to start Jared off the bench and come on as an impact player, like the Chiefs did, like they did and those two changed the game together against the Rabbitohs. You can just tell, especially when I was there, you can just tell that the momentum was swinging when those two come on. You just feel the presence. And can we see similar like that against the Eels? Maybe, have Fletcher and Lindsay start, then you have like Regan Campbell-Gillard come off, and then all of a sudden, as the game's starting to get fatigued, then you bring on Jared, then you bring on the Cheese. They can rip the game apart again like we did on like last week or the week before. Could you see something like that happening?
I could see it. I think I mentioned the Roosters having the early lead and the Parramatta bench coming on. But the more I think about the game, I think Parramatta will have the advantage early on. I think especially coming off, and I know Roosters coming off the bye, but I think going on early, kind of the first, 10 minutes of the game, I think you'll start to see Parramatta riding confidence. And I think that's why I think that Parramatta may score first, but I won't give you my tip yet.
No, we will get to that very shortly. But yeah, I can't stop thinking about this game. It's going to be great. Obviously, flying down Thursday after work. I get to Sydney at 6 o'clock. So obviously, if you live in Sydney, like Mascot from the airport to Moore Park is not far at all. So I'll get there.
Yeah,
not flying Jetstar. Not flying Jetstar.
Finish work at 5, drive to a train station, and then instead of getting the train, I think I'm actually get a 40-minute Uber, half and half with RXY SV2. So that'll cost me a leg.
Jeez. Well, all the way to Hornsby. Oh.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. But anyway, we'll wrap things up because you've got a busy schedule ahead of you before tonight anyway. But your tip, obviously you're going to tip the Parramatta Eels. What's your score, first try scorer, etc.?
I'm actually not going to tip the Parramatta Eels here, Hainsey. Yeah. This is a game I've had circled for a long time as a danger game. Now, there's 2 times I've tipped against the Eels this season. The first one being the Cronulla Sharks, which I was right, and the second one being the Sydney Roosters. Now, I almost changed my tip because I've had this tip, even the Panthers win. So I think it's going to be tough next week. I obviously didn't know Joey Manu was out. Hutchinson coming into the centres makes it really, really interesting as well. Mitch's goal kicking at home has been pretty good, but the consistency is an issue this year, and it kind of reminds me last year. Junior Paulo was a big loss when he didn't play last year. I think he only missed 2 games, but he was like you could notice the difference in those games. I love our bench. I love my side, but I think the Roosters are going to get it done at home here. I do. I'm going to be at this game cheering the boys on to hopefully get the upset, and they are obviously in the market as upset, even though, as you mentioned, they're playing good footy. I think it'll be high scoring. I think the rain will clear, and I think it'll be high scoring. I'm going to go with the Roosters 22 to the Parramatta Eels 20. I think it will be another close, nail-biting game. So I'm going to tip the Roosters by 2. As I mentioned, I think Parramatta start the game really, really well. So I'm going to go Bailey Simonson for first try scorer. And I think it's going to be really early on. I reckon it's going to be around that 6-7 minute mark that Bailey Simonson's going to score early on. But I'm going to tip the Roosters here.
Funny enough, the last time we played, sorry. That was at Combank at Suncorp. Jared Hargreaves scored the first try.
Yes, I had money on that. I had $2 on that. I think 51 to 1.
Of course he did. I'm leaning towards a forward here. I'm going to go with Lindsay Collins to score the first try through the middle. I think that he's going to run through the middle here, and he deserves a try. He's been playing phenomenally. He's probably been our best player this year besides Jackson Polo. So I'm going to go with good old Lindsay Collins here. Now, if you remember the Allianz vlog that we did, the opening, you picked Angus Crichton to score the first try.
I sure did.
Every time I watch the vlog, all I can hear is Angus Crichton scored. You got that one. But yeah, so tip, I'm going to go the Roosters similar. I'm going to go the Roosters 24, Parramatta 20. I think like what you said about goal kicking. I think Sam Walker's goal kicking has improved since he started. And I think Roosters 24-20, good crowd. It's a Thursday night though, so it's not going to be. It's not going to be like 36,000 at Allianz the other week, but I think we'll get close to 20 because it's Parramatta.
17,000, something like that.
Parramatta haven't been to the new stadium yet, so yeah, I could see between 15 and 20,000 here for a Thursday night. So it's going to be a great game. Anyway, that's going to wrap us up for today's preview. Next week, I'm excited to announce we're going to have the great rugby league guru on the preview of the Roosters and Storm clash in Melbourne next week. I cannot wait for it. I'm shaking because I'm talking about it already. Can't wait for it. Hayden, again, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I'll definitely see you on Thursday night, my friend.
Thank you very much. I'll see you on Thursday night, and hopefully my tip is wrong. Hopefully I'll see some omens.
Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, make sure you guys follow, subscribe to the Entertain House on TikTok and on YouTube. He's actually passed me on TikTok now. He's got like nearly 3K, and I'm on 2,100. Still pretty good though.
It's all the Prime videos, mate. If you post,
oh yeah, 10K Prime video, and yet I get what 70,000 for mocking Latrell Mitchell, and I get abused by it. But yeah, we just hit 750 subscribers on YouTube. So make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But yeah, really appreciate you guys' support. The video, found out though, 70% of you guys haven't subscribed yet. So what are you waiting for? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on TikTok. You guys know the drill. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, it's goodbye for now.